Hello, I'm Who Are We, and today we're going to be talking about determinism. More specifically, what is determinism? Determinism is the idea that every event is caused by previous events according to natural laws. The key features: causal chain. Every event is determined by a prior cause. No alternative possibilities. Given the past, only one future is possible. And it's governed by laws of nature. Physics, chemistry, and biology all operate under strict laws. For example, suppose you drop a ball. Newton's laws dictate how fast it falls. The ball must hit the ground. There is no other possibility. The implication: if determinism is true, everything that happens, including human decisions, is inevitable. The types of determinism. There are several different kinds of determinism. Physical determinism. Every physical event follows natural laws. Laplace's demon. If we knew the position and velocity of every atom, we could predict the entire future. This supports scientific predictability, but it eliminates the possibility of free will. 2. We have theological determinism, the idea that God has predetermined everything. For example, in religious traditions, divine foreknowledge means the future is already set. It explains fate and prophecy, but it conflicts with human free will. We have logical determinism. The future is already true or false in logic. For example, the sentence, "There will be a sea battle tomorrow," is either true or false even before it happens. It links to the laws of logic, but ignores causality. Truth does not mean necessity. Psychological determinism. Human behavior is determined by past experiences, upbringing, and biology. Freud's theory. Our choices are influenced by unconscious desires. It explains human behavior through psychology, but it reduces personal responsibility. Ethical determinism. People always choose what they think is best. Socrates and Plato. If people knew what was truly good, they would always do it. It explains why people act in self-interest, but it cannot explain irrational or self-destructive choices. Free will. Does it exist? Free will is the ability to make choices that are not determined. The key features are an open future, more than one possible choice, deliberation and choice, we actively weigh decisions, and moral responsibility. People should be held accountable for actions. For example, if you choose between chocolate and vanilla ice cream, if determinism is true, your brain chemistry, upbringing, and past experiences make this decision inevitable. The question is, could you have chosen differently? Compatibilism versus incompatibilism. Incompatibilism posits that free will and determinism cannot both be true. If determinism is true, we have no free will. Hard determinism, no free will. Everything is determined, including thoughts. If we cannot choose freely, we cannot be held morally responsible. This supports scientific causality. It leads to moral nihilism, where no one is responsible for actions. We also have libertarian free will, no determinism. Free will is real. The universe is not fully determined. Some choices are genuinely open. It explains moral responsibility, but violates physical laws. If the brain follows physics, how can it break determinism? Compatibilism, or a soft determinism. Determinism and free will are compatible. We are free if we act according to our desires, even if those desires are determined. Humans' view on free will and necessity. All humans' actions have choices, or have causes. We still make choices based on internal desires. Freedom means acting voluntarily, not predictably. It explains why we feel free, but it still accepts determinism with no real alternative choices. Determinism in science. Science supports different kinds of determinism. Physics supports Laplacian determinism, such as classical physics. Newton's laws is deterministic. If we know all initial conditions, we can predict the future. Quantum mechanics relies on indeterminism. Quantum events, like radioactive decay, are probabilistic. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Some things cannot be predicted exactly. Does quantum indeterminacy allow free will? If some brain activity is random, does that give us free will? The problem is that randomness is not the same as free choice. Determinism and moral responsibility. One of the biggest problems with determinism is moral accountability. If determinism is true, can criminals be blamed for their actions? Is punishment meaningless? If free will exists, How does free will interact with the brain and physics? Does moral responsibility require free will? Modern philosophy still debates whether legal systems should assume free will or determinism. So I want to thank you for listening. This was, of course, on the topic of what is determinism.